Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fptradio.com. So doing something that I've done a couple times before, playing some replays, again, best ofs, working our way to episode 500. Now, we'll get into the show, it'll play out. But before we do, I want to remind you about the wonderful people at Roberts & Roberts Brokerage. Since 1977, for over 40 years, they've been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver, also platinum and palladium. And they take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. So give Roberts & Roberts a call today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760, 800-874-9760, or visit online at rrbi.co. Enjoy the show.
I got a telegram, not some guy knocking on the door. Telegram for Mr. Perry. There's a messaging app called Telegram, and Brian Sovereign, who's the host of Sovereign Tech, the golden stallion of the tech world, sent me a telegram, said, Darryl, I've got an amazing guest idea for you. Is there a way you can make it happen? And I said, absolutely. Here's what times I'm available today. And he got back to me and said, that works. Let's get it done. And hold on, but before I tell you who my guest is, you're probably thinking to yourself, Darryl, why aren't you answering questions? Well, that is a question, so I'll go ahead and answer it. Again, because I'm not necessarily, doing this in the order that I'm supposed to, so I'm having a guest doing an interview instead of doing an Ask Me Anything. Don't worry, any questions that were submitted will be answered next week. My guest, and I'm glad to be joined by this particular guest. I've had her on previously. It's been a while. I'll have to try and find the link to that previous episode so that you can listen to it if you want to. It's the lovely, the intelligent, the talented Tatyana Murray. Tatyana, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Thanks very much for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
So there's something really interesting and I dare say revolutionary that is happening that you're involved with. And this is a new form of cryptocurrency of sorts?
Yeah. I have been working for the past 3 years really hard with Adam B. Levine of Let's Talk Bitcoin, and now the CEO and founder of Tokenly and Token.fm, on creating an artist cryptocurrency. So back in 2014, we created the first ever artist cryptocurrency. So it was branded specifically to me, and it was made on Counterparty, which is built on top of Bitcoin. And then, we raised $10,000. And once we raised the money, I was able to fund this album that I'm going to be putting out on March 31st called Keep the Faith, completely with crypto. There's still some finishing touches and some expenses now to put it out there, but all the tracking has been done. And since we did all that music stuff, we figured out what exactly were the problems with using an artist cryptocurrency, and how could we create sort of this alternative space where you could have people engaging on multiple levels, sharing music without violating copyright, having a store function, sort of like a Shopify, having a bit of a Patreon model with exclusive content and the ability to donate. And what we decided was, basically Tokenly came out as a solution. And now I'm just started my campaign last week on February 9th. And it's the first iteration where we've got the tools ready to make it a lot easier. You could donate right on my site. You can get your Tatyana coins right there. You can use dollars. I think the user experience is pretty good. We're still working through a couple different kinks, but for the most part, it's been a really smooth transition, and it's hopefully going to empower other artists to take this model and remove the middleman.
So I've got a couple of questions here. So you said that this is built on top of Bitcoin. How exactly does that, without getting super technical to where, you make eyes glaze over, how do you build something on top of Bitcoin?
Okay, so I'm the least technical person. This is a great question for Adam. But basically, there's the Bitcoin, blockchain, right? And then
Yes.
Counterparty is a protocol that functions on top of that, right?
Okay.
So it's linked to it. And then on top of Counterparty, you can make these kind of meta tokens. And that's what I am. And that's what artist coins and album tokens, which we can talk about too. Those are all sort of an extension on the third level, if that makes sense, like a third type of technology.
Kind of. I'm also not that technical or, technically adept. So I know that Bitcoin works. I kind of understand the how it works. But the thing that, I don't necessarily understand is how you build something on top of Bitcoin. And I know that there have been other cryptocurrencies that have attempted to do this, to where you kind of, have a token that's somehow built on top of the actual coin. So let me see if I can give an analogy and you tell me if this is correct.
Sure.
Federal Reserve prints U.S. dollars. The U.S. Mint issues quarters and nickels and dimes and pennies. So would the Tatyana coin kind of be like the nickels and dimes and pennies to the dollar, to where, it's interchangeable somehow, but not necessarily a separate currency?
I guess so. I mean, I think of it more as like a digital gift certificate that you use in my store to get either one-on-one chats. You could put in a song request. You can chat with other fans. You can share music with other people. It's sort of the hub, and I could do exclusive content. I could do exclusive concerts. People can buy swag. And if you have Tatyana coin, you get a better deal, that kind of stuff. But the Tatyana coin is almost just, instead of giving me a donation, which sometimes people want to do, they're actually getting something that's flexible. So if you donated $50 and you wanted to send Tatyana coin around to your friends, you could use $10 worth of Tatyana coin and send it to each of your friends, and you'd be able to do that. Whereas if you had donated, let's say through a regular crowdfund, you give me $50 and then I give you a t-shirt, and then that's all you can really do with it, because that's what you get for $50. And it's just in that one frame of time. Whereas now you have something that's kind of transferable. You can trade it with people. You can kind of play around with it. And also we want to kind of gamify the experience. So as we develop the project further, we'll have more fun uses for Tatyana coin. Who's the biggest fan? Well, obviously the biggest Tatyana coin holder, right? But maybe people can earn Tatyana coin by sharing stuff on social media, that type of thing.
That is something very interesting, and we'll delve into that here in moments here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com.
Hi, this is Roger Paxton from the Lava Flow Podcast, the Free Coast Freecast, and Pax Libertas Productions, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, joined by Tatyana Murray, the very talented Tatyana Murray, and revolutionary because, again, she created this artist cryptocurrency, Tatyana coin, and you did this how long ago? You said back in like 2014?
Yeah, in middle of 2014 we launched it, and it went on for a little while. I think we did it for a month, and then afterward, I sort of went underground, and then I recorded the album,
right,
while the guys worked on the technology.
And you're doing a new crowd sale of Tatyana Coin. We will get back into discussing that. But first, I want to make sure that I tell you about another currency, something that's been around a lot longer than even Bitcoin, and that is gold and silver, and specifically a way that you can get your hands on some. That would be from the fine folks down at Roberts & Roberts Brokerage. Since 1977, they've been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver, and they take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Yeah, you heard that right. They've removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders when you pay with Bitcoin. So call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760. That's 800-874-9760. Or visit online at rrbi.co. Back to Tatyana and Tatyana Coin. And, I'm really excited about this because it's not just, somebody creating a new altcoin, of which there are several hundred. I've lost count, and I don't even know if all of the websites that track all of these have all of them on there, but I know that there are several hundred. You might know better than me how many there are.
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that. I know that there's a lot. I think it's great when people are making altcoins and they're experimenting with new ideas, but I haven't really seen this type of use case really explored. So it's exciting, but it's also a little bit scary. You know what I mean?
Right. And some of the altcoins, that being, alternatives to Bitcoin or alternatives to Monero, which is not Monero, and, a lot of the things built on that platform are not, necessarily children of Bitcoin, meaning it's a completely separate protocol. But a lot of the altcoins just sort of seem to be like, oh, I created something too. And there's not really anything new or innovative about them. But Tatyana Coin, there is something innovative to where, as you were saying, it allows people to not just donate, hey, I like what you're doing, here's some money. It's, hey, I like what you're doing, here's some money, and then I wind up basically getting, I love how you described it as a digital gift certificate for the Tatyana store that they could transfer part of.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it gives you a lot more control over how you just spent your money. And it's kind of cool because if you like my music and you want to spread the word, what you do is you buy $50 or $100 worth of coin and you send it around to your friends. So I don't know. I mean, that's like one way to do it. So it kind of incentivizes the fans to hopefully spread the word about it, if they like it. And even, I think of Tatyana Coin as a way for people to get into cryptocurrency without necessarily knowing it, right? People don't always care about the Federal Reserve. I mean, I care about the Federal Reserve, and I didn't care about Bitcoin when it was explained to me by someone who was very smart. And, so I think that if you lure people in with the idea of music and you say, oh, well, you can support your favorite musician this way, or you can have access to them in a way that you weren't previously able to. Maybe you can listen to unreleased tracks, or you can message with them directly. And, and also you're not getting spied on the same way that you are in regular social media, right? And Facebook, we're the product. And I think that this can sort of create this organic community. And then another aspect of the technology that we're playing around with is, when you used to have a record, you would buy a record from the record store, and then you could lend it to your friend. You can sell it to somebody, you could do whatever you want with it. Right. And you could play it for a bunch of people. Well, you can't do that in the digital world because there's no scarcity, right? It's just like you can buy a license. When you give $10 to iTunes, you can only listen to it on iTunes. You can't listen to it like with other people or whatever. So you don't really own the music. But because of tokens, we've made it so you can have an album token, and that album token is a finite digital representation of an album. And so the artist is getting compensated properly. It's being tracked. But now you can sell it, you can, lend it to a friend, you can give it away to somebody, or we're going to have this broadcaster function where you can broadcast your favorite playlist. And if, a lot of people are listening to your playlist, then you'll get compensated, with a small portion of the revenue stream from the streaming.
So that's something that I heard you on an episode of Sovereign Tech recently, and you were talking about that aspect. And that's something that I'm really excited about because, there are things like Spotify and Pandora and iHeartRadio to where you can, create a playlist sort of thing, but you can't necessarily share that playlist with anybody else. Whereas it sounds like you're saying that you can create a playlist and then share your playlist.
Exactly. And then you're basically paid for exposing the artist. So, when you get 1 million plays on one of the regular streaming platforms, you get $1,000. $1,000 for 1 million plays, which is a terrible, stat, right? I mean, that doesn't work very well. Right. If people are using token.fm, they're going to be able to issue their artist 2 cents per stream, which is completely different than 0.0001, to the point where 1 million streams will give you $20,000. And that's a really big difference. And built into that is also a way to compensate the fans because they're the ones who are spreading the message about the artist as well.
Now, is this something that will be artist opt-in, or is it going to be, if I can find the song online, I can put it to my token playlist?
No, well, we want people to use the platform. And the thing is that we allow people to set whatever permissions that they want. So one of the problems that blockchain technology has solved for the music industry and is trying to be implemented is work registration and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that, I think I lost my train of thought.
That's fine. We're coming up to the end of the segment, so gather your thoughts, and we'll be back here in just a moment here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Joined by the lovely and talented and very intelligent Tatyana Murray. We're talking about Tatyana Coin, Tokenly, and the concept of allowing, creators of music and content to actually have more control over the distribution. Now, we're not talking about, government copyright sort of stuff. And I'm sure that, me and you, Tatyana, we might disagree on copyright, even though we're both creators of things. But what you're talking about here is something that you're working on called Tokenly, to where I could create a playlist of music, assuming that the artist opts in. And
on token.fm.
On token.fm. And then every time people listen to the playlist that Darryl created, Darryl would be compensated and the artist would be compensated.
Exactly.
And this seems a lot better than, some of the existing things like Spotify and iTunes and even YouTube, to where I've heard, and I don't actually know, but I've heard that on YouTube it's something like $6 per 1,000 plays or per 10,000. Do you know anything about that?
I know it's something really bad. It's like $2 for every 1,000 plays, like something ridiculous. I mean, the point is that artists should be able to set these terms. We didn't make the agreement with YouTube. It was just a blanket thing. If you want to play, you have to do it by our rules. And this is something where the artist completely sets control. If they want their music to be available to anybody to use in whatever format, they can put up their stems up there. They don't need to take any transaction fees. But if somebody wants to, do a limited time release, or for example, we'll have the ability to do an automatic donation to the favorite cause of your choice. So if you're, let's say, when I put the actual album out, I'm going to donate a portion to help with Ross. So I'll probably donate to American Black Cross, right?
Okay.
And you'll be able to see that happen.
Ross
so the
being a
donations
reference to Ross Ulbricht, the creator of the Silk Road online marketplace, where Ross is currently sitting in a prison cell for 2 life sentences plus 40 years. Although I don't know if they're actually, ticking down any of that plus 40 years since he's been in for about 3 years now, or if they're just, continuing 2 life sentences plus 40 years. And it's absolutely ridiculous that somebody that created a website is sitting in prison because some of the substances being sold on the website were against federal law.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of things that go into that case. I don't know if you know this, but Ross drew a picture of me for my birthday this past year. Like, I've done this project called Art for Ross. If people look at the hashtag Art for the number Ross. Anyway, I did this art project for him. So for my birthday, he drew a picture of me. And I decided to use it actually as the album cover for this upcoming record, where I have a song called The Silk Road. And I think it really highlights the need for why we need artist coins, because, if I was under a record label, they wouldn't allow me to take such a controversial message. They want to make a return on their investment. They have their agenda, and this type of thing does not fall under their agenda. So this is exactly why I think things like artist coins, and this is why I'm hoping that people can actually support me and donate to the campaign, is because I think that this idea is really key in order to free the art, right? Art can't be, everybody else is dependent on the state, everybody else is dependent on the system, but artists shouldn't be, because how are we going to be the voice for people that can't sing themselves? Not, sing in terms of actually singing, but you know what I'm saying? Speak out for their beliefs. Right.
Somebody has to be the voice of the voiceless.
Exactly. And that's how I feel, by having that picture drawn by Ross from inside a prison cell. It's a really good way to start a conversation and say, well, did you know, the cost of the drug war? And do you know how it ripples out through families and how it ripples out through generations, devastating people? I mean, this is completely immoral. And I look forward to being able to talk about it through the lens of my experiences with Ross and going to the prison and visiting and kind of getting firsthand knowledge, I guess.
And I'm on the TatianaMurray.com website right now looking at the campaign where people can get a copy of that poster that you mentioned, the drawing, the pencil sketch of you playing your guitar. There are other things to where you can buy some Tatyana coin. You can get a membership, a pioneer membership to token.fm private concert. So if you've got $2,500, you can have Tatyana give you a private concert. You can also, and this is something interesting, but slightly out of my price range, a original YouTube performance by Tatyana of your favorite song. So on this, does it have to be one of your songs, or will you do a cover of something?
No, I will do a cover of something, but I reserve the right to not do every cover, but I will try and be a good sport and not be a wuss about it.
And looking at some of the other stuff, you can get T-shirts, you can get hoodies, tote bags. There are other things, autographed CDs of Love and Liberty, an autographed CD of your debut album that I don't know if I have the debut album. I think I have Love and Liberty. There's also the Bitcoin jingle, and we're actually going to play that here in just a moment to end the program Again, Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, joined by Tatyana Murray. You can find out more at TatianaMurray.com. That link will be in the show notes. Stay tuned. Closing moments next here on FPPRadio.com. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Why do they hate us? Is libertarianism compatible with Islam? Davi Barker answers these questions and more in Voluntary Islam and Other Essays. He advances the voluntarist cause with analysis of the confluence of values between Islam and libertarianism, as well as contemporary movements from the Tea Party to the Arab Spring. Voluntary Islam by Davi Barker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Closing moments, and we're actually going to end the show with the new and updated Bitcoin jingle from Tatyana Murray. Tatyana, real quick, where can people find you? Where can they find more about Tatyana Coin, and where can they find your albums?
Okay, so everybody can go to TatianaMurray.com or TatianaCoin.com. They can support my campaign. They could buy my music. They could check out exactly how all this stuff works. We're putting up a lot of different content. I'm on Facebook, Tatyana Murray Music. My Twitter is Queen Tatyana. And my YouTube is Forever More Tatyana if people want to check it out. And I hope to connect with people in the crypto space.
And all of those links will be in the show notes. And enjoy the Bitcoin jingle. And, of course, I will be back. And next Friday, I'll answer your questions. Send those over ama@fppradio.com.
I didn't want to give any of my money to a nation based on war. I wanted to be free, nothing holding me back from where I want to go. I thought about it. What was the choice that I made? It was to take away the money. Don't give up your money. Use Bitcoin whenever you pay. Use Bitcoin whenever you pay. I didn't want to waste any of my time working for the government. I wanted to be kind, open up my mind, just like an instrument. I thought about it. What was the choice that I made? It was to take away the money. Don't give up your money. Use Bitcoin whenever you pay. Use Bitcoin whenever you pay. What a little crypto can do. No longer a slave. I don't have to work until the grave. So many times I cried to myself that we didn't have a chance. Nakamoto came along with more than a song, gave the labor back to man. I thought about it. What was the choice that I made? It was to take away the money. Don't give up your money. Use Bitcoin whenever you pay. Use Bitcoin whenever you pay. Use Bitcoin whenever you pay.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.